another weekly reading vlog, you guys. I'm super excited for this reading vlog because it's actually going to be challenge based, and I haven't done a challenge based reading vlog in a very long time, and I love doing challenge reading vlogs because they push me to read more, especially on days where I might not want to read or don't know what to read. This week's reading vlog is actually going to be based on my screen time. So I'm going to go into my settings, look at my screen time for last week, and every time that I picked up my phone last week, I'll be reading. So if I picked up my phone 100 times in one day, for that specific day, I'll be reading 100 pages. I saw Sarah do this on her booktube channel and I loved the idea, so I decided to try it out. So we're gonna go into my settings real quick. I'm going to start with Sunday, November 12th, and on Sunday, I picked up my phone 97 times, which honestly I'm kind of proud of. That doesn't seem like it's a lot. It's not even 100 times. That's pretty good, isn't it? Not to toot my own horn. I feel like I'm tooting my own horn here, but I feel like it's pretty good. But moving on Monday, November 13th, I picked up my phone 104 times. Tuesday, November 14th, I picked up my phone 99 times. On Wednesday, November 15th, I picked up my phone 137 times. Now that's bad. I can say that's bad. The next day, 116 times. Friday, November 17th, 78 times. Pretty good. Saturday, November 18th, 106 times. So there you have it. That's basically how much I'm going to read this week. For some days I feel like I'll definitely go over, because 97 pages, I feel like I can definitely read that and more, but we'll see how this week goes. As I mentioned, today I'm going to be reading 97 pages, and I was actually on Kindle Unlimited earlier and decided to download Winter's Mourn by Mary Stone, and this is a FBI based book, I guess, like a murder mystery series. 13 years ago, Winter Black came home early from a sleepover to find her parents brutally murdered and her little brother gone, taken by a serial killer called the Preacher. Now a rookie FBI agent assigned to her first murder case, Winter has returned to the small Virginia town where she grew up. When bones found by a hunter lead to the discovery of a secret burial ground containing the remains of children, the investigation suddenly hits close to home as the past and future collide with each new shocking discovery. Will they find her brother's bones in the makeshift graveyard? Only the Preacher knows, and he'll do anything to keep the past and its secrets buried until he's ready to make his final move. This is a psychological thriller that is going to keep you turning the page and watching the window long past midnight. I'll be the judge of that. Update. Enjoying the book so far. I feel like Winter's backstory is actually very interesting. Her parents are brutally murdered, and now the serial killer that murdered her parents is making contact with her. I feel like that itself is very interesting, and then now there's a separate murder investigation that she's a part of, and it feels like both of her worlds are coming together, but she doesn't know if they're connected yet. Neither does the reader, which I find very interesting. And there's also different characters that makes the book feel like it's going fast. There's different POVs in certain parts, which I thought was very interesting. So I'm enjoying the book so far. Alright, my friends, today is day 2 of this week's reading adventure. Today's reading goal is 104 pages. Today I left off on page 105, so today I'm going to be reading more of the same book and see if I'm able to hit today's reading goal. That's all I have for now. Just a quick little pop in to say hi and to talk about the reading goal again. Anyways, I'll see you guys in a minute. Quick little update. I'm about halfway through with the book. I feel like there's something on my lip. I'm enjoying it still. It is slowing down quite a bit, but I will say that I don't really have a clear idea of who is the killer or what is going to happen, which is a good thing. Like, I love reading thrillers that have me at the edge of my seat when it comes to like the big twist or the big reveal. Whenever I'm able to get a twist in a thriller, it just ruins the whole book for me. So I'm enjoying the fact that I haven't really been able to guess like what's going to happen in this book quite yet. I think I know who the killer is. I think I just guessed it, and I think I know what's going to happen. There's one element of the book that I'm not 100% sure on, but I think I just figured out who the killer is. the author made it kind of obvious. Let me not get ahead of myself. First, I have to see if I'm actually right. I also will say that Winter is kind of annoying me now. She is always going rogue and then not understanding why her partner is getting upset with her going rogue. If you're a part of a team, act like it, be a team player. And I understand her past and why she feels like she has to go rogue, but at the same time, don't act like a spoiled child when someone calls you out on your actions. I'm not in love with her character, if I'm being honest, which sucks because she's the main character. I just finished Winter's Mourn. I'm actually quite disappointed with how this book ended. It definitely is not my fave thriller. Where did my hair tie go? I feel like it started off so good and then the ending didn't deliver, and it kind of had an open ending. I know this is part of a series, I get it, but with my thrillers, I like close-ended endings. I don't like cliffhangers unless they're done right, and I just didn't like how this book ended. I didn't really love the main character, Winter, and then after I finished the book, I immediately went on Goodreads and immediately went to the reviews for the rest of the books, and I read the synopsis for the rest of the books in the series. I think there's like 10 books in the series. I may be wrong, but there's a lot. They all revolve around Winter's story with her parents and her brother, which, okay, fine, but it feels like each book drags out that part of her life to string along the reader. That's just the vibe that I got from reading all the synopsises and then reading reviews from people, and people were saying that the books in the series keep getting worse and they are very repetitive. So I don't think I'm going to continue this series. I actually had high hopes and I thought that I was going to love the series. I love murder mysteries, detective-based books, but this one just fell completely flat for me. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't really like Winter's character, didn't really like attitude or her actions, and I just wanted to go into the book and shake her and be like, what are you doing right now? And it also got very dull. It's not a long book, but it definitely got dull towards the end. I think I give this book a 2 out of 5 stars. Definitely a thriller that I'm not going to think about after today. On to the next one. At least I reached my reading goal for today. And I read even more than what I was supposed to because I finished this book completely, which is always nice. It is day 3 of this challenge. Today's reading goal is 99 pages. I have gone back and forth all morning trying to figure out what book I wanted to start today, and I decided on One Italian Summer. I checked this book out from the library a few months ago. What are you doing? I have been wanting to start this book for literally months. I wanted to read it this past summer and I didn't. I know we're in the middle of fall, almost winter time, but I really want to read this book. It's finally calling to me, and I also need to return this to the library next week, so it's now or never. It's basically about a woman who recently lost her mother and she's struggling to cope with the loss for obvious reasons, like hello. Before her mother died, they had planned a trip to Italy together. Her mom was going to show her all her favorite places in Italy and it was going to be this fun mother-daughter trip, but unfortunately her mother died before they were able to go on this trip. After her mother's death, Katie decides to go on the vacation alone to try to figure out how to cope with her mother's death. While she's in Italy, she actually comes across her mom, but the 30-year-old version of her mom. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, how that's going to happen and how that's going to play out, but that's the premise of this book. She runs into her mom who's 30 years old and she has to reconcile her mom that she's known her entire life with this 30-year-old version. I'm assuming throughout the book she's going to also grieve the loss of her mother and try to move past the death of her mom. I'm very curious to see how this book plays out and I've heard really good things about it, so I'm also very excited. We'll see how far we get into it. I just need to do a quick little update. I got to chapter 7. I'm on page 54. I understand the main character is grieving and she's coping with the loss of her mother, literally her favorite person in the entire world, and I understand that. But at the same time, I'm getting annoyed on how she's pushing away her husband, who clearly is just trying to help her grieve and move past the death of her mother. Again, I completely understand and I feel bad for the main character, Katie, but at the same time, I feel feel bad for her husband. She's literally pushing him away. You can grieve, but you don't have to be so cruel to the people that care for you and that are still standing in your corner. She's literally being so cruel to him, telling him that she doesn't even know if she wants to be married to him. Why is the death of your mom making you question if you want to be married to the man that you have known for, I don't know how long they've known each other, since they were in college? It just, I don't know, it kind of irks me how she's treating her husband. I wish she treated him with a little bit more kindness and a little bit more respect, but at the same time, I can understand that she's grieving. It's just a sad situation all around. I'm on chapter 16. Well, I just got to chapter 16, and I'm kind of confused as to how the main character can see the 30-year-old version of her mom. Is she dreaming and she doesn't realize she's dreaming? Because obviously she's in Italy in the present time, and now all of a sudden she sees her dead mother when she was 30 years old. Like, I'm curious to see how the author is going to explain that. I'm halfway done with this book, and Katie's character irks me so freaking much. Her relationship with her mom is borderline dependent, like borderline, I don't even know what the word is that I'm trying to say. It's obsessive. Don't get me wrong, I totally understand being close to your mom and obviously grieving the loss of your mom, but the way that Katie waits for her mom to make decisions for her as a grown-ass woman, she goes to her mom to make life decisions for her when she's supposed to be doing that with her husband, or she just lives for her mom's approval and doesn't even realize how toxic that is. She sees that her mom as her greatest love, like the love of her life, which fine, whatever, but also she can't comprehend that her mom had a life before her and that her mom loved her husband just as much as she loved her. You can love your child, but obviously you still love your husband. It's just a different type of love, but Katie doesn't see that. She sees her father as an intruder, even though her father and her mom were together for years and never once separated. How do you see your own father who you grew up with and you saw how in love your parents were, but you call him an intruder in your life? I don't understand that. The vibes of the book are amazing. I feel like I'm in Italy, but other than that, I am not enjoying this book as much as I was at the beginning. It's given delusional. Literally delusional vibes. That's what I'm getting. I finished One Italian Summer. It's a very short book. It's only 245 pages. I give this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I found so many problems within this book, so many problems with the main character. I didn't really like her relationship with her mother. I felt like her relationship, I said this earlier, but I felt like her relationship with her mother was borderline dependent. She didn't know how to be her own person without her mom, and it really irked me how she treated her husband throughout this book. I'm just gonna say it, if you haven't read this book, skip this part of the review. First, the main character was emotionally cheating on her husband, and then she actually did in fact physically cheat on her husband. And the way the author explained, or didn't really explain, how Katie was able to see her 30-year-old version of her mom didn't make any sense, and it really wasn't explained enough. Like, it was just a blip in the story, and I felt like there was so much potential for the author to explain how the main character was able to see the 30-year-old version of her mother. As a reader, you didn't really get a solid explanation. The explanation was so silly in my opinion. Like, how did that happen? And that's how I feel after reading this book. Like, I expected so much more. I will say that the Italy vibes are immaculate. I did feel like I was in Italy with the main character. I loved the descriptions, I loved the scenery, everything about that was perfect, but the actual storyline and the actual characters were not it for me. Maybe this is a 1-star read for me. I did not enjoy this book. I'm sorry. I'm so glad it's a library book and that I didn't actually spend money on buying this book. Such a letdown. I hate when I don't enjoy books because then I feel like it's a waste of time, but you can't win them all, I guess. Hey guys, welcome to day 4. If you hear music in the background, my husband is listening to music and singing to our son, in case you hear him. But today's reading goal is actually 137 pages. The problem is I'm actually picking up the camera quite late in the day. It's about to get dark outside, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to sit and read 137 pages in one sitting. We'll see. I'm also starting a new book today, which I'm kind of excited about. slash nervous. This book has been sitting in my physical TBR pile for a very long time, and that book is Never Never by Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. I feel like I've only read one Colleen Hoover book this entire year, and I can't remember the name of the book. What book did I read by Colleen Hoover? I think it was Too Late by her. Was that this year or last year? I don't know. This year is a blur, you guys. But either way, I haven't been reading a lot of Colleen Hoover books lately. I feel like last year I really got into her books, and this year I'm kind of just like meh about her writing. But I saw this book at Barnes a few months ago and I decided to pick it up. I've heard pretty good things about it. You guys have told me that you enjoyed this book. This was actually released years ago in e-format, I believe, but then they decided to actually make a physical book out of it. I'm also very curious because Colleen Hoover is collabing with Taryn Fisher, who is another author, and I'm kind of curious to see how their writing flows. I don't really like books that are written by two different authors. A lot of the time I can notice when the author switches off and then it throws off the book for me. Sometimes I lean towards specific author's writing, and then when the second author starts writing, I kind of hate it. But we'll see how this one goes. I put on my glasses because I can't see. Also, my son broke my glasses. He keeps grabbing onto them, so they're kind of crooked and it's really bugging me. I need to tighten the little screws or just get new glasses. But this one is basically about a couple who have been in love since the age of 14, but suddenly they wake up, they can't remember anything about their lives or about each other. Like their memory has been wiped clean, and they have to work together to figure out who they were and who they are, and if they were even meant to be together in the first place. Along the way of them trying to discover their memories, they start to question why they were together in the first place. I feel like this is a very interesting plot because I haven't read a book like this before where the two main characters or the main couple have no memory of one another or their life. So I'm kind of interested to see how the plot plays out. 106 pages into the book so far, and it's very clear that Charlie and Silas, I hope that's how you pronounce his name, had a very toxic relationship. It's clear that they have or had love for one another. Something happened in their relationship that I think caused them to drift apart. It hasn't been revealed, but I do have a guess or a theory of what happened to their relationship and what caused them to become so toxic towards one another. I'm kind of curious to see if I'm right. I'm also very curious to see how Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher explain the memory loss. How do you explain that these two people suddenly at the same time lose their memory? How do you explain that? How do you get yourself out of that hole? I don't know. Another thing about the memory loss, I don't understand why the main characters seem so different from who they were before they lost their memory. For example, they're putting little pieces together of their relationship and they're each, I guess, surprised that they act the way that they have acted and they don't agree with their actions, but they're still the same person. So it's kind of weird to me that they lost their memory and at the same time they become completely new people. You could lose your memory, but you're still essentially the same person. So the way they were acting before is who they were. That's kind of weird to me. That's the only thing that has me like, really? That's not how memory loss works, but I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. It's the next day and I'm reflecting. My voice, clearly I just woke up. I'm sitting here reflecting on how much I read yesterday, and I'm so mad at myself for not hitting my goal when I was only like 10 pages away from hitting it. But at the same time, I was so tired. You know that kind of tired late at night when your eyes start to water? They actually like start to sting and hurt. That's how I felt last night. My eyes hurt so much. I couldn't keep them open even though I was only like 10 pages away from hitting my goal for the the day, I just couldn't do it. So unfortunately I didn't hit my goal last night, but that's okay because we read a lot the day before and today's a new day, so we're going to start fresh and it's okay. I feel like there's something in my eyeballs. Anyways, we're going to continue reading Never Never today, see how far I get. I'm very curious to see how this book plays out and how they explain the whole memory loss thing. How do you even explain what happened to these two characters unless they got into an accident that they have no memory of? Oh, my goal for today is, where's my phone? My reading goal for today is 116 pages. I feel like that's very doable, hopefully. We'll see if I'm able to hit my goal today. I have like the chillest baby. Like, he's just content listening to me talk to myself. He's chilling. Update. I met my reading goal for the day. Yay for that. I'm so happy I did. And I think I'm actually going to be able to finish this book today, which is great because I'm kind of over it. I'm halfway through with the book, and at the beginning I was really enjoying it and I was very intrigued with the plot, but now that we're in part 2, things have definitely slowed down and I'm kind of over the whole memory loss thing. It's becoming very repetitive and I'm kind of just sitting here wondering, okay, they can't remember what's next. Like, what else is gonna happen? And there's different little, I guess, side plots going on, which I guess the authors wrote in just to throw the reader in for a loop. I don't know. It feels like there's a lot going on, but at the same time, it feels like we're just at a standstill and nothing is going on. So I'm really hoping it picks up soon, because if not, I'm going to be incredibly bored. Because my baby is napping in the bedroom and I'm in the living room and I need to be as quiet as possible so I don't wake him up. But I finally finished Never Never. I say finally, like I've been reading it for days, but I've only been reading it for 2 days. It feels like I've been reading it for 100 years. This book started off so strong. I was so intrigued by the plot, but I was also scared because I didn't know how the authors were going to explain the memory loss, and let me tell you, they barely explained it. Like, they had a stupid reason for the memory loss, and then the epilogue made absolutely no sense whatsoever. It didn't even tie anything together. There were so many loopholes. After part 1, the book slowed down immensely. I feel like the authors were just throwing in loopholes and throwing in twists just for the heck of it. It didn't feel like they were on the same page when it came to plot. I don't know. I'm low-key disappointed by Never Never. I give this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I don't even think I would recommend it. Like, it started off so good and it has so much potential, but both authors just did not deliver, and so many things were unresolved. I want to say what was unresolved, but then again I don't, because I don't want to ruin the book for you guys. But that's frustrating. Yeah, a 2 out of 5 stars. That sucks. I feel like I've been having such a rough reading week. None of the books that I've read so far have been good. That seems so harsh. I also feel like I'm being so negative in this video, but I have to be honest with you guys and tell you when I don't like a book. And so far, these books have they haven't been doing it for me. They have not been entertaining or good. It makes me sad. I was actually going to end off the vlog here since it is day 5, but I think I'm going to do the full 7 days. I'll probably start another book tomorrow just to see if I can turn this vlog around. I want to try to end off this vlog on a positive note. I need to think about what book I want to start. Hopefully I pick a book that I will actually enjoy, so I can end off this vlog on a good note and not be Ms. Negative Nancy over here. And I feel like I'm getting myself into a reading slump, which I don't want. But I'll see you guys in the morning because I'm not going to do any more reading tonight. I need to take a break after Never Never. What a frustrating ending. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, you guys. It is so early. It's not even 7 yet, but my little one decided to wake up early today, so here we are. He's chilling with his little bear. I've been trying to figure out what book I want to start today. I'm not really quite sure. Today's reading goal is 78, which seems very doable. I feel like I can do that literally within the next hour or so. I can't figure out what book I want to read. I've been on my iPad looking at Kindle Unlimited options. There's 3 book options that I'm thinking of reading. The first one is 'Tis the Season for Revenge, which I'm kind of leaning towards because I feel like it's going to be Christmassy, and since we're in the holiday season, I feel like that'd be a really good book to read right now. And then there's The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy, which is a new release and is a spin-off from the Off-Campus series. Then there's King of Wrath by Anna Huang, and I'm not a huge fan of Anna Huang's writing, but this one sounds like it's going to be so good. And it's an arranged marriage, which I don't know why, but like I live for arranged marriages in romance books because they always start off hating one another and then they fall in love with each other, so it's kind of like enemies to lovers as well. I'm having a hard time deciding which one of these 3 books to start today. I kind of want to start all of them, but obviously that's not feasible. I guess I'll let you guys know which one I pick. And I'm also sipping my coffee. The vibes are really good this morning. We're off to a very good start already. I just got to chapter 7. I'm about 49 pages into the book already, and it's a pretty easy read. It's actually pretty short. There's only 289 pages in this book, so I think I'm going to combine today's reading challenge with tomorrow's, since I think today's reading challenge is 78 pages if I remember correctly, and tomorrow's reading challenge is 106 pages. So I think I'm going to combine today and tomorrow, since this book is pretty short and I have a feeling that I'll probably be able to finish it today. And since 78 pages is not really a challenge, like that's a normal day read for me. But like I was saying, I'm about 49 pages into the book and I'm really enjoying it so far. We're getting dual POV, which you already know. That's like my favorite type of romance book, when there's multiple POVs, and we're following Abby and Damien. Abby was just broken up with. She was dumped on Halloween by a very shitty ex who I feel like psychologically abused her and used her for his own benefit, and then when he was done with her, he dumped her. So she is determined to get revenge on him and decides to date his boss that he hates. So it's already off to a really funny start, and I really love her character. She's so bubbly. I love Damien's character as well. He is such a gentleman, and he's not a cinnamon roll male character, but he's a very sweet. And I just got to chapter 7 where they're going on their very first date and they're meeting each other for the first time. Hopefully it doesn't go bad, because all the other books I read this week have started very good and then they have gone downhill. But I have high hopes for this one because, like I said, it's been a very funny read, especially after reading Never Never. I'm really enjoying that this is a romantic comedy, so I'm really glad that I went with 'Tis the Season for Revenge. It's also taking place during the holiday season. Like, it starts off on Halloween and we're already on November 6th, so I'm really enjoying the timeline as well. So yeah, that's my little update. Abby is literally the queen of pettiness, and she's definitely making her ex suffer in the pettiest, most creative ways, and I'm here for it because he deserves it. Her ex is the literal definition of a douchebag. It's crazy to me that men who act like her ex actually exist. It's so sad, so disgusting, but unfortunately they do. But I'm happy that Abby is slowly but finally remembering her worth and remembering who the F she is. I love her character. She's so funny, so bubbly, and I love her style. Like, she's not afraid of loving pink and just being super girly. I love that. Her character is such a breath of fresh air. And don't even get me started on Damien. I absolutely love Damien. The only like complaint I have about this book so far is that it is very insta-lovey, or I guess insta-lust, which I can see people who hate those tropes not enjoying this book as much, because it's definitely very much insta-love. Things are moving pretty fast in a short amount of time, but I don't really mind those tropes if they're done right, and I feel like they're done pretty well well in this book so far, at least so far. So I'm actually enjoying it, and the comedy bit make up for the whole insta lust thing. So I'm enjoying the book so far. It's actually a very cloudy and rainy morning, and my husband is in the living room with our son. I unfortunately have the worst cramps. I did not miss my period at all. I'm going to be laying in bed for as long as possible this morning. My husband has our son in the living room. He's playing with him. He's going to take him for a nap soon, so I can relax and get through these cramps and read my book, which I'm super grateful for because I definitely need a little bit of a break and to just relax this morning. So yeah, I'm gonna sit here and finish this book. That's what I'm trying to say. I finished the book, and I have to say that I'm so glad I chose that book to end off this vlog because I enjoyed this book immensely. I thought it was so funny. I loved the two main characters, Damien and Abby. I thought they were so cute together, especially Damien has my absolute heart. The way he just reassured and taught Abby to trust herself and to love herself again. And by the end of the book, Abby realized that she didn't really need any man to tell her her worth. Her worth came from herself, and I just loved the message. It's a romantic comedy, but there's definitely a deeper message within the book that I absolutely loved. I loved Abby's character, and she was so fun. As she slowly realized who the F she was, she became a lot more confident. I do wish that her insecurities weren't mentioned as much as they were mentioned in the book because it did become repetitive after a while, but at the same time, I completely understand why the author wrote the book that way. You don't get your confidence back in one day after being in a shitty relationship for so long. That definitely takes time. So I feel like the book was a little bit realistic in that way, in that part, but it also just made the story feel repetitive, if that makes sense. The side characters were so fun. Abby's friends were so hilarious. I think the next book in this series follows one of her best friends. I'm definitely going to continue the series. I keep picking up books not realizing they're part of a series, and my list of series that I'm currently in the middle of just keep getting longer and longer, but that's okay because this series I feel like is going to be worth it. All in all, I think I give this book, I don't know, I'm leaning between a 3.5 and a 4. There were definitely parts that I didn't like. I didn't like the spicy scenes, and for such a short book there definitely were a lot of spicy scenes, but I feel that if you love spice and love smut, then you'll probably enjoy this book immensely. I just didn't really care for them. I found myself skimming through them. They were kind of cringy in my opinion, but I feel that way about most spicy scenes in books. It's not anything against this specific book or this specific author. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not a huge fan of spicy scenes in romantic books, but yeah, all in all, I'm really happy I decided to pick this book up. Really happy that we're ending off this vlog on a good note and not with me bashing yet another book. Yeah, I'm just happy with this book. I can't wait to continue the series. I'm going to end off the vlog here. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. Sorry if I came across a little like negative. I just didn't like most of the books that I read this week except for this last one, but like I mentioned earlier, I just have to be honest with you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you a part of my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.